Hickok 45 here with a Browning. Isn't that pretty? Picked one of those, or yeah, I picked one up in a gun shop somewhere and held it and was just really impressed with it. So I put in a request to try one of these out. 308 Browning BAR Mark III. Now I know what you're thinking. That's redundant. Yeah, it kind of is. We do that, don't we, with the BARs? Probably since 1917, when good old John Browning came up with the first one, using World War I, II, even the early days of Vietnam, as I understand, and other places, of course. So many people just call it the Browning BAR. I guess to designate what you're talking about, for one thing. But BAR stands for what? Right, Browning Automatic Rifle. So you're sort of saying Browning automatic rifle, aren't you? But we do that, and I do it too. So let's shoot it, and then let's talk a little bit about this thing, okay? It's 308. I've got a 3.5 by 10 Leupold on it, and I should be able to hit something with it. I just went ahead and put a scope on this one instead of a red dot, and thought we might play with it at, some range, who knows, never know. So let's let the bolt down and take a couple of shots. See if it will shoot. See if I got the scope on. Yeah, pretty close. Feels pretty good. Might even be pumpkin ready. Let's shoot that pumpkin survivor. I can't believe it has survived the weather this long. What about a 2 liter right there? All right, and a gong. Yeah, 10 rounds. And that was one of the characteristics. Oh, a nice ring. One of the characteristics of this Mark III is available in a shorter barrel, fluted barrel, and with a 10 round magazine. Okay, not necessarily the standard Browning, the BAR Mark III, okay? This one has Turkish walnut, it's oiled, and you don't see many of these on the shelves with walnut, furniture. So that's one of the things that appealed to me, kind of liked it. Yeah, look at this baby, ain't it pretty? And speaking of this, it's on loan, and we really appreciate Bud's Gun Shop. Great outfit, just a titan in the industry, really are. Just as close to you as your computer screen. Same with Silencer Central. Wonderful outfit. You've seen the Banish line in many of our videos, and you will see more of those. And also on your computer screen is the Sonoran Desert Institute, sdi.edu. Lots of great education you can get there from a distance. Firearms technology, drone technology. You can get on the road to becoming a gunsmith. All kinds of good stuff. Check them out. And I had one of these, speaking of the Browning BAR. Let's just keep up with the redundancy. It's kind of like, it reminds me of the VIN number on your car, right? You get the connection right. VIN stands for Vehicle Identification Number. So what you're doing is saying, my vehicle identification number is, but we kind of do that, don't we? So we know what we're talking about. But it is a BAR. And you can't blame, who was it, Bruce, I think, Browning, John Browning's his grandson, for keeping the name BAR, in the rifle. I think it was 50 years later, I think 1967, 68, that they came up with, he did the sporting version, of the BAR, the military firearm. And I think, was that called the Mark II? Eventually, I don't know, but that's the one I had basically back in the late 80s or the 90s, and it was in 308, and much like this, but it had a I guess an all metal or all steel receiver. This is alloy, aluminum alloy, which is fine. It locks up in the barrel. It's like a aluminum alloy receiver on a shotgun, whether it's a Mossberg or Benelli. Your bolts locking into the barrel, okay, the lugs and everything. So AR-15, you name it, M16, So just because something has an aluminum alloy receiver doesn't mean it's going to fall apart at all, right? But mine did have it. They had those, I think all those maybe in that generation had a steel receiver. The biggest advantage to me in that was it was just prettier. Had a nice blue finish. Beautiful, beautiful rifle. I should never let it go. But this it's nicer wood. So yeah, just a really nice rifle. And again, this one's a little different. You might have one of these. You might be thinking about a Browning Mark III, semi-automatic, hunting rifle or whatever. And you think this one looks a little different and has a detachable magazine. That's one of the characteristics of it. In fact, it's called the DBM model, detachable box magazine, is in the name of it because it has that 10-round mag instead of just a flush fit, 4 or 5 round capacity. A little shorter barrel than the standard ones. Okay, so this is a little different. It's one of the things that appealed to me about it. I'm not sure if the others come with a Picatinny rail on them or not. But good looking rifle, I thought. So now these do have a reputation back through the years. If you're an avid shooter, you've owned these, or you know more about guns than I do, especially, which wouldn't take a lot, right? You might know that I don't know if it's some of them or during a certain period of time necessarily, but they didn't have a reputation for being the most accurate rifle in terms of like really close grouping at 200 yards and that sort of thing. And at one point they came out with that was I think after I bought mine or owned mine, with a Boss system they called it. It looked like a choke or suppressor on the end, almost about that long or so. And you fine-tuned it to it was supposed to create the correct amount of vibration in the barrel or adjust for that somehow. And as you're sighting it in and testing it, shooting groups, and as you tweak that, you would find a place where it would group the best, I believe, as I understand. And so, they're not going to be as accurate as a bolt gun probably in terms of shooting a really, really tight group at long range. But they're just nice, and they're good enough for most purposes, I would guess. It's semi-automatic, in 308. And these things are available in like 270, 243, 300 Win Mag. For a semi-automatic rifle, it doesn't weigh 100 pounds. In fact, the Safari model, which is like the one I had, I think, it was available and still is, I think, in 338 Win Mag, semi-automatic. Can you believe that? So, pretty cool. Let's shoot it again. I should have been loading this magazine. That's your all's fault for not reminding me. I want to, as I'm doing this, thank Alabama Holster for their support of the channel. Check them out. And newsflash, they're in Alabama, but that doesn't really matter, does it? They're on your computer screen as well. Great little concealment holsters. Been using a long time, and just love them. I like this because it has the detachable magazine with 10 rounds. Depending on whatever you're going to do with it, I don't know, it's just nice if you're a shooter especially. Now, if all you do is hunt, you don't spend a lot of time at the range with your rifle, maybe plinking with it very much, it doesn't really matter. But 10 rounds is nice to have that capability and what you would generally consider a hunting rifle, right? This would make, I saw someone who would talk about what a great hog gun this would be, especially in Texas where they kind of bait them and they've got a real problem with them. And when they come in and there's 4 or 5 of them, you might get a chance to eliminate several of them, before they get away, as opposed to a bolt action gun or something. All right. For most hunting, of course, a bolt action gun is sufficient. All right, you see our product placement here. Didn't know Clorox would ever be sponsoring us, did you? As a joke. Wow, attacked us. And they're another sponsor, Arizona Tea. Just joking, of course. Just joking. How about a little pot smoke in there? Yeah. Oh, there's a can that needs aerated. Cool. Oh, what over there needs to be shot that hadn't been shot? How about that red plate on the right? All right, gunning with the last round in that magazine. It is fun. Yeah, I don't have scopes on many rifles. I have some red dots, prism scopes here and there, but it is kind of fun to have a nice scope with a good picture on it. To occasionally, I'll shoot one more time. Okay. What else about it? It's not cheap. You know, you're getting up there fairly close to 2K. So it's a fairly expensive rifle, and you'd have to want it and like it. I had a friend I used to teach with. He was a technology guy. He knows, if he's watching, who he is, if he's still sober, which he is. He wasn't really a big gun guy. I don't know that he had, but probably a couple shotguns, a couple rifles, but he was an avid deer hunter. Oh, he was man, he'd take the week off, deer season open, and he had one of these, you know, the earlier version of it. I think it had it forever, and that was his gun. He loved it, and that's all he hunted with. And I think his was in 30-06, put my name backwards on it, 30-06, and he just loved it. And that was his hunting rifle, probably still is, you know, and I think it had served him well. So just nice rifles. Might not be something, if you're out west taking shots at 200, 300 yards regularly, that would appeal to you as much. I don't know. If you have one of these, you have had one, and you're an actual rifleman. You're not a wannabe, a pretend rifleman like me, plinker. But you actually have worked with these things and hunted and grouped them and all that. You've owned them. You know, let us know what your impression has been in terms of accuracy, because I know it has been an issue on some of them. Now, we're not talking about you can't hit anything with them. I'm just saying in terms of extreme precision, you might do better with a bolt gun or something. All right, which makes sense. You're going to lose a little bit. That's why a bolt gun is so popular. Really locks down. All right, we got anything close here that needs to be shot? Mark III BAR. Yeah, 308 will take care of a bowling pin, won't it? Yeah, sends it on its way. Same with a 2-liter. Yeah, and that old pumpkin is just not going to react, is it? Trying to shoot. Yeah, shot the stem, that knocked him off. Let's go back over there, that red plate. Yeah, all right. Really a handy rifle. I forget what it weighs, but it's not too bad, you know, with the alloy receiver and everything. And of course I got the scope and all that mount and everything on there, but it's 18-inch barrel, kind of a handy length. And of course I got my extender on there to make it a better length for me. You see what the back looks like. Pretty nice. Got a nice pad on it actually. It's just that I like a little more length, right? Okay, I give up, can't find my pocket. So yeah, 10 round, the DBM model, and 18-inch barrel. Probably it would appeal more to me than a lot of people. You know, if you were looking for a rifle like this for hunting, you might prefer I think it's a 22 or 24-inch barrel in the standard models, and a composite stock that's not nearly this pretty, but more practical. You know, and you don't need 10 rounds. You're going deer hunting, you know, 4 or 5's enough, and you'd rather not have that hanging out there. You know, so this model may not appeal to you, but I just think it's pretty. I think it's a pretty rifle, and I like it. So that's really what I've got to say about it. Life is good.
Oh yeah, that's better. This is a great gun for defense. Oh hey, didn't see you guys there. While I've got you here, I want to remind you of our friends over at Talon Grips and Ballistol. Talon Grips makes grips, can you believe it, for all different types of firearms. You can get rough texture or more of a rubberized texture. It just sticks right on there. You know, really affordable, really cool option to improve the grip for your handguns or rifles. So please check them out at talongungrips.com. You'll be glad you did. And also Ballistol. Dad has been using Ballistol for many years. It's a cleaner and a lubricant, and it's non-toxic. It works really great, and we're happy to have them on board since it's been a part of our shooting endeavor for a very long time. So go to ballistol.com, talongungrips.com. And also, while you're out there, I'm juggling all these things here. Also, while you're on the internet, please do check out our other social media like Hickok45 on Facebook. There's also Hickok45 on Twitter, The Real Hickok45 on Instagram. There's a John_Hickok45 on Instagram where I do some things. There's Hickok45.com. You can find us also on Gunstreamer. So check out all that stuff and then watch more videos.